What? I've been good all week. Have you thought this after stepping on the scale Sunday morning to weigh in, only to be disappointed by the result? Many of us have. We feel like we've worked hard all week not to see the results we deserve. That's why I wanted to share the #1 reason you aren't seeing the weight loss results you want, which is honestly, you weren't as good as you thought you were. Now, before you give an angry look and click off this video saying I'm wrong, I want to go over the hidden inconsistencies I often see in clients' diets sabotaging their weight loss results. But I also do just first want to mention, the scale doesn't show us the full picture. Just because you didn't lose that week doesn't mean results aren't building. The scale just shows us our weight in that given moment. But our weight isn't just fat and muscle. It's glycogen being stored, water weight, inflammation, poop. So hard workout the day before, a little more sodium with dinner, or even eating slightly later than usual could all impact our weight the next day. We may have even seen losses how we weighed the day before a hard workout that made us sore instead of weighing in on our weigh-in day. That's why we never just want to jump ship, because of the scale not immediately showing us the results we want. It's why taking pictures and body measurements are so key, because the scale also doesn't show us body recomp happening at times. If you gain 2 pounds of muscle and lose 1 pound of fat, you're gonna see an increase on the scale even as you look leaner. So it's key we aren't just basing results off of changes on the scale. We also need to recognize that progress is never linear. While we often hear it's possible to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week, this doesn't mean it's realistic or that it will happen for us every single week. It often means that when you look at averages over time, that this is a realistic but challenging rate at which you could lose. But week to week may vary, including weeks where you actually gain a pound only to lose 3 the next. We also have to remember that while something is realistic, it doesn't mean it will happen for us. How long we've had the weight on, how much we have to lose, how aggressive we're even being with our plan. Even our age, training, and our dieting experience can impact how fast is realistic for us to see results. So as frustrating as it can be, you need to track progress in multiple different ways and also step back to assess trends over time. And if you aren't seeing results snowball, consider whether you're actually being as good as you think you are, and really assess if you're seeing these 5 issues popping up. Issue #1, weekend eating blowing your calorie deficit. The "but I was so good all week" feeling comes from us being really good Monday through Friday afternoon. We're precise in our macros, really cutting out foods and dialing in our calories. We're meal prepping, we feel like we're working really hard. Then on Friday night, we feel like we deserve that cocktail, those chips and guacamole. On Saturday morning, we wake up feeling a bit lazy and wanting to relax. And after indulging the night before, we find it easier to want to not eat according to our plan that day as well, which often spills over into starting over Monday. We think, well, it was only a couple of days. I was still really good all week. 5 days versus 2 is consistency. But what we don't realize is how much even those couple of days can throw us out of a deficit and really impact our weekly macros, especially because often we don't log those days to see their impact. But it's easy for a couple meals out, cocktails, an extra serving of dessert to create a calorie surplus over those weekend days that destroys our deficit from the week, especially if we're trying to create a smaller deficit to feel energized and protect our lean muscle mass. Those weekend meals are also often carb and fat heavy and pretty low on protein. This can dramatically change the macro ratio we're actually hitting over the week. It's why we can feel like we're working so hard, being so good, and overall very consistent, yet not seeing those results snowball. It's why starting out, it can be good to track everything. That way you truly know what your weeks and even your months are averaging out to be able to adjust accordingly. Maybe it does mean adjusting your macros and your calories to accommodate for slightly different habits over the weekend. Or maybe it means finding ways to make more macro-friendly versions of the weekend meals you usually enjoy. But so often we aren't aware of the impact that a couple of days can have on our results. Consistency isn't just the number of days. It's the impact those individual days have on those weekly, monthly, and yearly totals. Issue #2, having free calories. I know many popular diets tell you that certain things don't count, like you can only track net carbs, or not log certain sauces, or even count fruits or vegetables. And over time, you may not log certain things because you know the calorie impact for you is very low. But the more you don't log, the more calories can be adding up that you aren't aware of. The more you don't have fully accurate data to work off of and make adjustments from. Plus, it goes back to mindset. Excusing not logging certain things makes it easier to not log other little extras. So no matter how minimal the calories may be, or even the argument that we don't actually absorb the calories, say from fiber, we should log everything to start when we are wanting to reach a goal as fast as possible. When it comes to veggies, often people argue against logging them because they're very low in calories. But most of the time, we aren't eating them plain. Too often the sauces or oils we put on them do have calories that add up on top of the calories from the vegetables themselves. And when it comes to tracking net carbs, we often make the excuse to do this because we want to eat more carbs overall. While tracking net carbs may be key for specific health concerns, when you're looking to lose weight, don't subtract fiber. When you set your calorie intake in deficit, you're assuming that you are eating foods with fiber. You aren't creating that deficit planning to not eat fiber. So counting only net carbs can throw off the numbers you're actually hitting. As painful as it is to start, log everything. What gets measured gets managed. Issue number 3, not logging bites, licks, and nibbles. This goes back to logging everything to start. Those small little things add up over the days and weeks. A couple of nuts or crackers here or there, the bite of leftover food off of your kid's plate, these things really add up. And the less we're aware of them, the less we hold ourselves accountable for them, the more we tend to do them. By pushing ourselves to log everything, the more we can break that pattern of mindless snacking out of boredom even or stress. And we can start focusing on fueling better. We can change our relationship with food. But be conscious of your tendency to eat little things throughout the day. Make an effort to log them and be accountable. You might find this helps you stop that pattern, or at least truly know the calories you're consuming. And you may be surprised by how those little things have added up to hundreds of extra calories over the course of the week. And this may be on top of other habits, throwing you out of that calorie deficit you thought you were consuming. Issue number 4, not truly measuring. Our portion sizes easily get distorted. How hungry we are, the size of the full portion served at a restaurant, how much we want it, how stressed or tired we are. So many things impact what looks like a portion to us. And it's so easy to let emotions lead to you scooping out a little bit of extra peanut butter than you know is right. Even the size of what you're adding an ingredient to can impact what you think is a portion size. A bigger piece of toast can make a serving of peanut butter look oh so pathetic. That's why, especially as we're learning the portion sizes that we need to fuel our needs and goals, we need to measure everything. Tedious? Boring? Frustrating? Yup. But this is the way you can really learn how distorted your portions may have been. And this is the way that you can see results as efficiently as possible. It's just like baking a cookie. A little too much or too little of an ingredient can dramatically impact how ooey gooey or crispy that cookie is. You don't want to just wing it and hope when you're craving those cookies. You weigh and measure everything so they come out exactly perfect. This is why you want to measure everything. Results require a recipe. Help yourself know exactly what you need. Whether you use measuring cups or a scale, make sure to weigh out each and every ingredient, and then log it, saving those dishes as recipes or meals to quickly reuse in the future. Issue number 5, not entering ingredients. A common excuse people make for not tracking everything is that they're cooking from scratch at home, which is actually a funny excuse because cooking from scratch at home technically makes it easier. You can easily log and measure everything out. You know exactly what's been included and can measure out every single ingredient to log it accurately. Too often we make a lasagna and simply select lasagna in the food tracker, but we don't know if that recipe was the same as ours, or even if another person entered that manually and if the calories and macros are truly correct. Whenever possible, create your own recipes and meals in your food tracker, entering exact ingredients and portions. This gives you the most accurate numbers to make changes off of. And when you eat out, do your best to find something close to what you got. Even check restaurant websites for nutritional information, as many now list the breakdowns so you can enter them into your food log. But the more precise we get with everything, as hard and annoying as it is to start, the more we can help ourselves know that what we're doing will move us forward, over feeling frustrated when we step on the scale and don't see the result we want. So if you've stepped on the scale and thought, but I was good all week, step back and ask yourself, have I actually been as precise in the habits I should be doing daily as I think I am? Reflect on whether or not there's room for growth and opportunity in addressing some of the issues I mentioned here, because often there's always a little bit more we can be doing to better implement our current plan, instead of jumping ship and starting over. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week.